Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, good. By the way, it's like good opportunity for me to learn how to pronounce your name. I like
Okay.
every time. It's
Sahaj.
like Sahad.
Sahaj.
Sahaj.
Yeah.
Sahaj. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will write transcription in Cyrillic.
Okay.
Because like in GitHub you have like shorter, in Slack you have shorter version.
Yeah. It's like just my nickname basically.
Okay.
My full name here. That's
Uh-huh.
just part of my first name.
So we wait for a couple of minutes, maybe like somebody join.
Okay.
At least
2 people, I think.
Marcelo. Yeah, Marcelo was and Rob added themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing we can do is to move it one hour late. You
Yeah.
know, because what happened with time is like a GraphQL working group, so we just copy pasted, but
Okay.
he manually do time saving. So he
Yeah. Okay.
do it. It's maybe like confusing. Actually, we can switch to from UTC to something GMT.
DMT. Anytime works, I guess.
Yeah, like UTC, but with time saving, daylight saving.
Oh, okay.
Because yeah, all the countries, I think like most of the countries move do time saving. It just with hi Rob.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good. By the way, do you want to discuss something about stream and defer because it's not an agenda? We can add it.
I don't think I have any real
Okay.
updates. I just kind of wanted to see how everything else is going and where we're at with that, I guess. I might have to jump off a little bit too, so I'm just gonna listen in.
Oh, hi Marcelo.
Hey, hi.
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 Yeah, so I think like it's everybody. Maybe somebody will join in the process, but at least it's like everybody who added their names to agenda. And big thanks to Sahaj for creating agenda. He basically pinged me about in the end of December. Is it happening or not? And yeah, I moved it to the 5th because 6th is Christmas Eve in Ukraine. So we have a different calendar for Christmas celebration. So let's start from agenda items. And yeah, like first thing, like everybody should sign specification, membership agreement, code of conduct, and participation guide. We actually like GraphQL Foundation started to unroll club bot. So like you need to sign it anyway to contribute your code. So like if somebody forget, it's like very easy and you can sign it as individual. You don't need to sign it as company. You can sign as individual contributor. Yeah, and second thing is introduction of attendees. So let's start from me and continue in the order inside agenda. I will send agenda in chat. So if you see your name, we will introduce each other in the order in agenda. So hi, my name is Ivan. I'm currently maintain GraphQL.js, Express GraphQL, and some other repos under GraphQL Foundation. And next one is Sahej.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sahaj, and I am working on the TypeScript migration of GraphQL.js.
Hi, my name is Marcelo. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Marcelo. I'm an individual contributor, and I work specifically with subscriptions on GraphQL.
Rob I work for First Dibs. I've been working on the defer and stream spec proposal.
Yeah, so next item is determining volunteers for note taking. So if somebody wants to take notes, actually we have like recording, but it's always good to have like because it's searchable to have notes. So if anybody interested in doing that, or you can volunteer to do it offline using recording. I will publish recording in one day. So next thing is a review agenda. So yeah, determine next meeting date is a good thing. We actually need discuss 1600 to do items and status update review. Yeah. Anybody wants to add anything else to agenda? So understand it's no. So let's proceed to review previous action items. So not a lot of progress on this one, but at least I can check. It's good that Marcelo, you on the call because there is agenda items about you. I will post it in action item. We posted in the chat. So it was about giving you trash permission role. So do you have it right now? I think I actually added you to GraphQL.js repo.
Yeah, it works.
Oh, okay, so we can close this one. So yeah, I need to work on some other one about cleaning. One about clean up containers list on GitHub. It's we decided it should be handled by GraphQL Foundation. I forget somebody work on it in GraphQL Foundation because it's like general issue, not only for GraphQL.js, but for all repositories. I think it should be in action items of main GraphQL working group. So I will check which one, and if it's duplicating, I will close issue on our repo. So next agenda item is determining next meeting date. So and Google links.
So yeah, so Like the Google links right now on our meeting on the agenda, they don't work. The subscription takes you to graphical working group, not the GraphQL.js working group. So the dates are like kind of messed up. So like this time when I added it, I commented those lines. So you don't have the Google, like if we want, we should add the Google Calendar link so anyone can just subscribe to them.
Do you mean like Google Calendar link in README, main README of a repo?
Like on the agenda, like if you open like any older agenda item, like you can see there's like a view calendar or subscribe to Google Calendar link.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, like when you click that, you subscribe to GraphQL graphical working group instead of GraphQL.js. So it's kind of confusing when you do it the first time. So maybe those should be fixed.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know how to add like, or even if I have access to GraphQL Foundation calendar, I will check with them. So it's action item. For me, I will write to somebody like from Foundation and figure out how to add GraphQL.js working group into calendar and to have correct link. Yeah, and I think we also have the link, the same link in README.
Yeah.
So yeah, fix it everywhere basically. Yeah, and for README, this calendar, calendar list. So yeah, it's to fix. Another issue. So just to clarify, we target the same date, so last Wednesday of a month, because it doesn't interact with any other working groups, and it's like empty slot. So it's like we move it because it was 31st last time, and like people need time to celebrate or prepare for celebration. One thing I want to suggest is to move it 1 hour forward, because like how we end up with current time is that we copy paste time from GraphQL working group, but GraphQL working group shifted 1 hour to adjust for daylight saving time. So like right now it's kind of surprising because it's like stayed in UTC, but local time in almost all countries are moved to 1 hour forward. So I suggest to do the same, because like for me it's always a confusion. Should it be like, for me it's like 6 p.m. of local time or 7 p.m. of local time, because like GraphQL or other working groups is on 7 p.m. So I suggest to move it 1 hour. If anybody have like, okay.
Works.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Maybe like even worth to look like some time zone which include daylight saving. So we can say like GMT or something. So we can say it's like fixed time, but in time zones that include daylight saving. Okay, so next agenda item. Yeah, actually one thing, it would be like confusion, because we would have 2 January 2021 calls, but I think we can have like January 2021 number 1 and number 2 or something.
Okay.
So next, discuss 600 to do items. Yeah. So I can share my screen and we can. Yeah, okay, let's actually look at the steps, and basically we I'm like currently we're stuck with step number 1 to clarify what's happened. Like I accidentally discovered CVE for GraphQL.js. Nothing serious, like it's mostly denial of service attack. So it's like just server can run out of memory and basically to reboot itself. So it's not like remote execution or something. I worked on a fix and I have fix, but I want to apply it before we branch out. So, and that's why it's like took some time, and afterwards I had like problems on my main job. So that's why it's stuck. One thing I suggest to make it more actionable is to actually add deadlines to items, because otherwise we end up like in it's like even for me having deadlines is more stimulating and it make stuff more actionable. So I will send you a link in the chat so we're on the same page. I can share my screen. I will do both. So I will send it to the chat and I will share my screen and we can discuss. So hopefully you will see my screen. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, super. So what I suggest is that right now we put deadlines on items. And so I would say that one. Let's make it like Monday. I will do it tomorrow. 7th is Christmas in Ukraine, and I will have Friday and like finish on weekend. So we can put deadline for 11th of January. 11th. Actually, Friday, like for this particular item, I will finish it for Friday. 8th, January 8th. With one, yeah, and target 16.0.0 alpha release for Tuesday next week. So for 12. January 12. And yeah, for merging the hit PR is realistically Friday is the same week, so 15th. And yeah, for this thing is Monday 18th. Yeah, so after that we'll see how much work left. But basically, until the next call, we should move to number 6 and start working on number 7. Is like everybody okay with dates?
Yeah. Sounds
Okay,
like
so
a plan.
yeah, so yeah, so I'm stopped sharing my screen. Yeah, everything else, scope is the same. Like from updates, there is like one thing I want to fix. It's related to bug with sorting schemas, because I looked into why it's originated and it's affect users. So it's kind of like small but breaking change technically. So I wanted to add it into 1600 and with CVE. So like fixing it properly include breaking change. So I will update 14th and 15th version to have non-breaking fix, like that fix like symptom, not a problem. And for 1600, I will add like proper fix. Rest of the scope is the same. And like I already have code ready both for 1600 and 1500. I just want to edit and release at the same time, like proper CVE style release. So that's why it's like it's done locally. So any do you have like questions or like suggestions or ideas how to improve process? So yeah, so it's like I would like to parallel stuff, but a lot of these things is like merging and branching and like updating stuff or dealing with like CVE. So we just need to like, I'm bottleneck for that, but after that, development should be faster. So if there is nothing to discuss, we can move to next agenda items about agenda item about PR. So I suggest about PR. Actually, it's mostly, I would say it's 90%. So to give a background, what we discussed last time. So idea for this PR is not to do complete conversion, but to do like majority of work in one PR and to merge it. And even if it breaks something, still merge it and clean up afterwards. It just like we shouldn't have like stuff in PR itself. So like PR itself should do good. It just like should show like most of the things, not everybody, not all the things, because we will have never-ending story of for this PR. So are you ready?
So you're suggesting that the branch 16.0.0 will be like a feature branch.
Yeah, so idea is we're discussing right now with PR, and it's against 16.0.0. So idea 16.0.0 become a master, and we work not master, main. So one of the goals is to switch from master to main. So it's 16.0.0 became main, and we develop against it. One thing that we discussed previously and I want to do, it's like this release include two kind of breaking change, like TypeScript related and breaking change that's not related to TypeScript conversion. So idea is to at least try to put most of like non-TypeScript related stuff into stuff that we planned, like some of them we planned like years ago, like removing deprecated stuff, to put it into alpha release. And after we release it, and I think I targeted on it on Monday. So after we make this release, we can switch. We can basically merge. We can basically merge the hit PR into main. Yeah, I quickly review it because I like. You made last change 28 days ago. I reviewed it, like, and there is like some things I'm some like things that I want to change before merging, because otherwise we will add like additional commits and make commit history unnecessary big. So I left a couple of comments. My suggestion to improve the process and make it faster. Let's agree on some fixed time and do online code review.
Okay.
So yeah, so we both will use like a Zoom or something, yeah. And because like I have a question about some stuff, and some stuff it's like easier to do in code sharing than to write in the text.
Yeah.
In major, it's like most of commits is like totally non-controversial. Let's do it like that. Let's
Anytime
plan.
this week's work for me.
Okay. Yeah. So I will contact you.
Yeah, you can just ping me on Slack.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's the deadline for we have like we have deadline for merging your PR, and let's make it first pass this week, and if necessary, like we can do second pass afterward. I think like we can do it if you can allocate like around hour or two. We can do it in one go.
Oh yeah, like I have time. My school starts next week, so I have like this week is off, so I have time.
Yeah. And by the way, big thanks for patience.
Oh yeah.
It's like not only for TypeScript changes, but for review and other stuff.
Yeah.
It's yeah, you change. It's more than 2,000 lines of code changes and 31 commits, and amount of effort you put it into my commit history looks good. By the way, idea is that is to not to squash with PR, but to rebase it and put on top. So idea is that we will keep commit history. So when you opened like a file and you can click through in GitHub blame, you can click through a couple of the hit commits, and you can see why this line was added. It's not like we had flow code and suddenly we have like equal code in TypeScript. It's like for GitHub and for GitHub to understand, it's like we migrate the same file, and for user to understand why certain line of code is changed, because basically why it's important. There is no active maintainers from original authors. So it was written on Facebook. We have code dump from 2015 or 16. I forget what was the first commit. And afterwards, and we don't have like anybody to ask basically. So idea is to at least preserve like commit history for past 4 years, because some of the changes it's like very easy to track and see that change is motivated by some issue or PR. So anybody wants to ask something about that with like PR or with agenda item or add something? Okay, so yeah,
and then,
Europe.
So just after 16 is released, that's when we'll do the 17 experimental branch.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
where we're targeting async intervals and defer stream.
Yeah. So idea, is the same idea that, like previously, I don't have like relevant example in JavaScript world, but previously I work like for embedded development and I work with Linux kernel, and Linux kernel previously had like a model with 2 lines, kind of experimental line and official line, stable line. So idea is to do the same, because right now like we have 2 responsibilities. We have responsibilities for production JavaScript servers and production servers, not to break stuff and not to experiment with the people, because it's like stable library and bunch of stuff depend on it. And second thing is responsibility for other to be reference implementation. So if we add something, we need people actually duplicate it. So like Python implementation of GraphQL is line by line replication of JavaScript. So we're not only experimenting with the JavaScript community, we're actually experimenting with the Python community at the same time. So I having stable and unstable line allow us to do freedom of experimentation and get feedback, but at the same time everybody understand like this is experimental line and this is a stable line. So, and we finally can lower threshold for doing experimental features. And even for some stuff, non-breaking stuff, we can backport it into, depending on amount of effort. If it's like easy, we can backport it into stable line. And when we finalize 17.0.0, we can release it and make 18.0.0 alpha 1 experimental line. So we can try with this model and see if it's work.
Yeah, sounds good.
We add these, it's here 13, create experimental. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So yeah, like last time I prepared this plan to be like detailed as possible, so we all agree on idea. One thing we can change, because like I was overly optimistic and thought like we will finish migration before this call. One thing we can change is remove like I think in March or April we need to do break and change anyway, break and release anyway. So let's agree if everything goes well and we can release 16.0.0 this month, we just release it and release next release in like 3 months. If it's like take longer, we just like squash it into one release, because it doesn't make sense to do break and release and another break and release in like 2 months. It's like too short period for breaking, for like a number increase. But let's target this month. And
you'll drop support for Node V10 in 16 if it takes longer than this month.
Yeah. I think like at least like if we finish conversion this month, and like we will have like release candidate this month, like we stay on the schedule. If not, we just like, I think it would be worth to remove not done support in this one and work on 17. Yeah, let's discuss it on the next call when we will have actual update on what happened. And next call is on last Wednesday. It's on 27th, so it's 22 days. So bunch of time to finish TypeScript migration if we stay on the schedule.
There was another question, I think, a couple meetings ago about if we were still maintaining the flow types.
Yeah.
And so, are we, or?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question. So we should not maintain flow type for migration, because migration, it will make migration way harder and prolonged time. It's like a question: should we add flow types based on like pre-migration code after migration? So technically, migration should not change anything beyond in actual code, beyond types. So we should not like change execution behavior at all. So based on this assumption, flow types before migration should be, we can use flow type before, extract flow types before migration and add them after migration. Should we do that? It's like a big question, because that's why I think like Mike created this issue. I will check. I think like Mike opened.
I put it in the chat.
Yeah. So Mike opened this question. One thing I can do, I can actually pin this, pin this issue, so it's have more visibility. Yeah, so it's pinned right now. And another thing, I can ask Facebook guys, tag Facebook guys inside this issue and see what they think about it. So it's like, I think it's a question of, is it worth to have to pay maintenance price? So one of the reasons we actually do TypeScript migration is that people are wanting to contribute, but they flow types is major pain point. So they need to learn flow and they don't use flow at work, or they don't use flow like at all. And to learn flow specifically to contribute like one time PR or one feature is too much to ask. So we switch to TypeScript to resolve it. So if we maintain 4 types, we have 2 options. Either we require everybody to maintain 4 types inside their PRs, but because we moved our test to TypeScript, so we wouldn't have any way to test 4 types, or we allow people to make PRs without 4 types, and one person is responsible for updating 4 types before release, which is like also not something that I think like ideally we ask Facebook or other like for people who depend on 4 types what they want. Either like we create some like step before release when somebody who use 4 types, who responsible for 4 types review every PR and see and adjust like typings. Basically, we can compare TypeScript typings between releases and see what changed, and somebody is responsible for propagated to 4. Or maybe there is like equivalent of definitely typed for 4, called 4 typed. Maybe they will accept it.
I'm not experienced with Flow, but I'm pretty sure there must be some Webpack plugin or something like that that generates Flow based on TypeScript. No. Ideally, we should have only a single source of true, right?
Yes, there is one. So it was suggested by somebody from a guild. I forget his name, CTO of a guild. Dotan. I remember Dotan. So Dotan suggested like months ago. Problem with it is that we have like pretty complex 4 typings. Most of them, like 90%, is like pretty simple, but 5 or 10%, like for example, for visit function is non-trivial. So we can try to convert. Like another question, is it worth it or no, or not? What I know is that major use case for GraphQL.js was Relay, and Relay right now switching to Rust. So like we basically need to ask them if they're switching to Rust anyway, like do they need like 4 types, really need 4 types in meantime, or they are happy to stick on 1500 current stable line until like they switch to Rust. So, or maybe like Facebook have other, like think about Relay is public. Publicly, I think it's like biggest client of GraphQL.js, Apollo and Relay, but Apollo use TypeScript, they don't use Flow, and biggest like open source repos that use GraphQL.js and Flow, it's Relay. I am aware of like GraphQL Compose, but GraphQL Compose I spoke with after, and he told that he don't convert his own code into TypeScript because he wanted GraphQL.js to convert first. So, like, idea that before all this investment is idea that it's not easy question, and before like even exploring how good generated types are, we need to figure out if like anybody still use like flow for something compact, because like if somebody use like basic functions to create a schema programmatically, typings for GraphQL object type, interface type, and other types are pretty stable. We can just like donate flow typings to flow type repository. It's similar to definitely type, but for flow. It's a question, so that's why we ask community. One thing I'm against is to include it into migration. So my suggestion, focus on migration, and in parallel, I will tag people from Facebook, from Relay team, and from other Facebook teams who use Flow, who use GraphQL.js into issue, and see what their feedback would be. And if you know anybody else who using Flow, please tag them also inside an issue, or send them issue and say like it's your chance to voice your opinion or to offer a help, because we actually like need help. It's like pretty big maintenance thing to maintain flow types. Anything else we want to discuss like before on this call before we finish?
PR2863 on GraphQL.js. Oh, I think we should get that merged in. It's like it's fixing all the workflows so it runs.
Yeah. Whisper. So problem with it that we have branches. We have like 1400 branch and 14xx branch and 15xx branch.
Yeah.
And we need to run it. If I remember correctly, it's like this PR from Gado, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, from Gago. So like, yeah, I need to, yeah, because it's mentioned master. So it's like, well, it's run testing only on master. And yeah.
But it will run on all the pull requests.
Yeah, but not on, so problem that you cannot do it. Everything is pull requests. So like currently I do final commits, like commits for creating new version as commits.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, but I already released a version. So let me think about it. So like ideally, we don't need to restrict it on only with master, like push only with master.
Okay.
Like I will keep this issue open. So yeah, find it, and I will. Yeah, actually, I promised Gago to figure out another issue why linting is failing. So I will do both, and I will write review there.
Okay.
I agree that running twice is confusing. I'm kind of like know about this thing, but yeah, for new contributors it can be confusing. Yeah, so my action item is we need to resolve it. until the next working group we either merge it or we use some alternative approach, or so it shouldn't be in pending state. It should be either merge or rejected, and we should find alternative solution.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for bringing this up. Actually, yeah, I promised Gago to review it. I just forget. Yeah. Anything else? No. Yeah. So we didn't have a lot of on agenda items, a lot of items, but all of them are major. So like basically, like TypeScript conversion is motivated with working group in the first place. Uri suggested to start it because we're basically stuck on TypeScript conversion. Right now, we have like a progress, a lot of progress. We just need to stay on the schedule. So it would. So what we target for next working group is to have Sahib PR merged, and we would discuss like consequence questions about like flow typing and other things. And by the way, if you have idea for agenda items, like even meta agenda items, not only about like actual code changes, but about processes or about like maintenance, feel free to add them into agenda for next working group. And also it's like open group, so you can invite other people to join if you know that they're interested in discussion, especially like about flow types. If you know somebody who heavily dependent on GraphQL.js and flow, please invite them to next working group and we discuss it there. Yeah. Other than that, it was very productive. So we'll see on each other on 27th of January, 1 hour later. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Have a great new year.